American voters are paying attention to President Trump's first 100 days. Let's discuss now. Syndicated talk radio host John Fredericks in this corner on the right. And on the left, Bill Press, the host of the Bill Press Show. Maybe sometimes he's on the left, sometimes he's on the right, you know, but usually he just left, tells it like it is. Left. Oh, okay, left. Well, then I'm right. All right. Correct. So, Bill, welcome everyone. Bill, in the past few days, the president has done, he's done a bunch of interviews, even on outlets he calls fake news. So is the president trying to brand his presidency in these last few days or moments leading up to that 100-day mark?
Absolutely. You know what I find funny about this is, first of all, he has said that the 100-day mark is a ridiculous measure. It's silly. We shouldn't pay any attention to it. And on that point, I absolutely agree with him. We should have dropped this thing a long time ago. It's nuts. I mean, you can't.
But he started saying that about 10, 15 days ago, though. Before that, he didn't say that.
Yeah, I know. But this last week, he's having these interviews to say, look what I've done this, look what I've done this, boom, boom, boom. He's trying to get the word out. And so he's made a big deal of it. I think it'd be wiser not to. And then when you look at his record, he's accomplished less than any president since, I don't know, Calvin Coolidge, maybe? I mean, by his own test, he flunks his test. So I think he just should have forgotten about the 100 days.
I think John Fredericks agrees with everything you just said, right? Oh. That was sarcasm, John.
Well, look, what I agree with, Bill, is that the 100 days is not the real number. Here's the real number. The only number that matters to Donald Trump right now, President Trump, is 96. 96% of his base supports the president. They believe in what he's doing, and they're going to stick with him. That's the real number here tonight. They want him to succeed. This is an unprecedented number. You know, President Trump's base is unique in American politics. They have stuck with him. They believe in him. But Don and Bill, they also hold him accountable because at the same time when we had Ryan Care, 95% of that base was opposed to it because they thought it would sink his presidency. So this is a very unique situation. You look at some of his accomplishments, though, he's doing exactly what he said. He got rid of TPP. He's bringing jobs back. He's bringing tariffs in. He's challenging NAFTA. And he's upsetting the status quo.
Wait,
he's
John,
challenging the Washington
go ahead, Bill.
status
Bill,
quo.
I'll let you handle that one. Go ahead.
Hey, come on, John. You've been drinking too much Kool-Aid. Number one, look, his base. This is a guy who said about his base, he could walk out on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and his base would still support him. That's true. That speaks a lot about his base. And as president, you expect him to do more once he's elected than to just throw red meat to his base. And again, on his accomplishments. Look, he gave a speech in Gettysburg in October 2016 where he said, here are the 38 things I'm going to do in the first 100 days. Take a look at it, John. He hasn't done one single one of those things. All right, look.
I think that John. By the way, I think the Washington Post did a fact check on this, and I think it was like he promised 60 some odd things during the campaign. I think he's done 5 of them. 5 of them he hasn't done, and the other rest of the 30-something he just has not addressed.
If I could just add to that, if you look at the big 5, okay, repeal Obamacare, infrastructure, build the wall, the Muslim ban, and what was the tax reform, right? Those 5, none of them has he done.
Well, Billy just rolled out a major bold tax reform plan, and look, his base and a lot of people.
That was one page.
Look, he ran against the same Congress that can't get anything done on his behalf, so nobody faults him for that. But he's done a lot, Bill, and he's moving forward very quickly. And this is
Bill, before you jump in,
the reality is in 100 days, the number's 96%.
Okay, let me ask you this, though, John, because you say 96% of his base, and then you mention the Congress. So he's got a Republican Congress, he's got a Republican Senate, and he's a Republican in the White House, but he can't get this stuff done. So how does that, I don't understand that. He's 96% of his base, which is probably not 96% of Republicans. I'm sure it's a very high number.
Here's the answer to the question, Don. It's a great question. But Trump got elected by running against the establishment, the status quo, and running against Congress. He's the president because the Republican Congress failed its base so
John,
miserably.
he needs the Congress in order to get things accomplished.
Look, I'd like to point out, hey, John,
that is going to come that is
John.
going to come as we
Okay.
go forward. If you look
Let's
at the
go.
tax plan he just rolled out, it's
wait.
bold, it's big, it's
no.
different. We'll see how it plays out.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, look, let me just talk about the tax plan for a second, all right? One thing you've got to understand, and Donald Trump has to understand, there's a big difference between saying, here's a one-pager of what I want to do, and actually doing something. That's the same thing with Obamacare. It's the same thing with the wall. It's the same thing with the Muslim ban. He talks, big talk, do nothing. And the fact is, he's president now. He's supposed to get things done. He's supposed to represent all Americans. Don is right. I mean, Republicans control the House and the Senate and the White House. They control everything, and they can do nothing. Now, that is not something to brag about, 100 days or not.
The only thing that Congress couldn't get through was the Ryan Care, Crony Care, Obama repeal and replacement bill that was a terrible and lousy piece of administration that is
Why did they try it again?
So let me ask you
Why did
this.
they try it again?
Hold on, Bill.
Objected to.
Yeah. So then, because I just read the breaking news last night as it happened, that they weren't going to have the votes or have the vote this week before the 100th day mark. That they would try to do it after. That means that they didn't have the votes twice. So the question is, really, why would he do it again?
Well, we've got to fix the problem. The Obamacare program is imploding. He's the president of the United States. We've got to find a way to fix this. They've got to get there. They've got to find a plan.
John,
that
can I
works.
ask you an honest question? Can you be honest about
Yes.
this? So
Honesty is the best policy, Don.
7 years with Obamacare, right, with the Affordable Care Act, and 60 some odd votes to repeal and replace it. And even when you have the majority of everything, you still can't get it done. What does that say? So are you blaming that on, is that the president's fault? Is that Republicans' fault? Is that a mutual fault? Like, so what's the reality there for you?
Let me tell you the difference between the tax reform bill and the Ryan Care, Crony Care bill. They turned Obamacare, repeal and replace, over to Paul Ryan and the Congress that the
I got 10
voters
seconds, John. I hate to
rejected
rush you.
in electing
Okay.
Trump. The
Bill, I
Give me
got
five.
the
Give me
tax
5 seconds.
reform bill is the president's. If the president takes control of this, he's going to succeed. If he turns it over to Congress, he's going to fail.
I'll
Wait
give
a
you 20
minute.
more seconds, quickly.
All right, there is no bill. I keep coming back to that. There is no bill. There's a one-page memo. That is not a plan. That is not a bill. That is not reality. And he's got to get that same bill through that same Congress.
So what's
He's
happening here,
gotta
Bill,
learn-
is
he's
they
gotta
don't know how to
learn work
govern? The
with these
Republicans
guys.
haven't realized that they need to govern it. Seriously, the producers are going to kill me. Is that what's happening, Bill?
I think the president has realized, and somebody said that earlier, that he is not a dictator. He just can't say, this is the way things are, folks.
I got to go.
You got it.
Have a great weekend. When we come back, the president admitting his new job is harder than he imagined.